119 families, welcome to week 2. First, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you did for week 1 and all of your hard work with your children. Probably multiple of them. I hear from some of you, and I know last week was a big learning curve for all of us. And I just wanted to thank you. I can't thank you enough for all of your hard work this past week to help support your kids. So just thank you. And as always, please feel free to reach out to me with any questions at all. Thank you for those of you who did this past week. And I have taken copious amounts of notes on what this week will look like. Resources for you, I'll be sending out an email specifically with week 2 resources. It will include the planning document again, which I did send out last week, but I'm just sending it again for your ease from the district. Within that document are lots of links, and then I'm also sending in the email some YouTube links for this week just to hopefully make your jobs a little bit easier, some explanation of some activities and some strategies that are used in this week. So hopefully that will help you out. I'm going to talk through each of those, so if you could open up the email that I sent. It says, I think, week 2 video and resources. I included the Park Hill School District planning document, so if you'll go ahead and click on that, you can follow along with me. And then keep that email open from me also, so you can kind of look through the resources that I sent that are separate from the district. Again, these are not must-dos, they're just free, hopefully to help you, so that's all they're for. So if you open up the Park Hill planning document for day 6, it's slide 7. You'll see for reading and writing, it says write a letter to a family member stating your opinion on something. It can be anything. And I just wanted to talk through the structure of that and what that looks like. So for opinion letters, you say, dear so-and-so, and then we talked a lot about hooking the reader, asking a question. So if I were to write about having pizza for dinner, which is the example, I might say, do you love pizza as much as I do? Or I hear you don't like pizza, but I'm going to convince you otherwise. Just kind of like a warm up, get them started. After that hook or question would be the opinion statement. So it has to start with something like, I think, I believe, in my opinion. We talked a lot about how you can't just say pizza is the best, because that's a statement, not an opinion statement, just a statement. So we talked about those opinion starters that you have to have. I think, I believe, in my opinion, that has to be in there somewhere. And after they state their opinion, they can give a reason, an example. So one that I gave, I might say, do you love pizza as much as I do? I think we should have pizza for dinner tonight would be my statement. And then because would be my reason. Because it is easy and convenient would be my first reason. And then I could give an example, like, for example, the DiGiorno pizza in our freezer takes 20 minutes to cook, and all you have to do is preheat the oven. It is so easy. And then maybe give another reason. Another reason is everybody in our family loves pizza. We have for example, the pizza in our freezer has pepperoni, which everybody likes. And then after you give multiple reasons, examples, your student would then restate the opinion. So say, that is why I think we should have pizza for dinner. And they can find a fun way to say goodbye, like, I hope I've convinced you, from student name. So that's the structure. It's hook the reader with a question or just a fun statement, state the opinion, give reasons, give evidence, restate opinion, just so you know. And again, this is hopefully just so you can come back and look at this on Monday if you need it. And all my future things in this video are just so you can prepare and hopefully reference back to. So hopefully that helps. And then for math, we have our sums and differences number puzzles. You can click on each of those. The big skill we're working on in that is place value with tens and ones. You're creating like the biggest, the largest sum, smallest sum, largest difference, smallest difference. So just students understanding that where you put the number in the tens place, ones place, the top number, the bottom number makes a difference. And if they're struggling and they're just kind of creating equations that would never create the largest sum, I would suggest having them draw tens and ones. We do that all the time, so they should know how to do that. But let me just draw for you real quick. So if we have the number 28, it would be 2 10s, kind of like that. And then for ones, we draw circles just because they're easier than drawing little cubes. So 28 would be like this. And this helps them to visualize it and really see the size. So like 28, and then if you had 52 or something, they could clearly see, well, 52 is bigger. There's way more 10s than 28. So that's something that you could do if your child's having a hard time with that. For social studies, we're doing economic concepts, and this is not something we have learned yet this year. This is new. And it is challenging. I sent out some videos in the email about this for goods and services, and let's see. And then opportunity cost. Goods and services is an important video to watch because that is the foundation. If they take anything away from this, that's the big thing. I want them to understand the difference between goods and services. And then opportunity cost is just kind of a challenging concept for them, at least at first. So watching that video and then talking through that video with them will help. The goods and services one is pretty self-explanatory. They should watch that on their own and be okay. But the opportunity costs would be beneficial for you to watch with them and then kind of review and explain. As far as labor and income and wages, that is something I tried to find some videos on it, but it's really just more something you explain to them, and you can give them examples. You can create scenarios, whatever you want to do to help them understand that. So labor would be the work that we do to earn or obtain the income or wages that we then gain from that. And then bartering, you could talk to them about how bartering is where you trade goods or services. And that's something you would do if you didn't have the income. So if you didn't have money, you could trade, but most of the time we have money that we pay for goods and services these days. So again, just talking through that with them piece by piece. And then for day 2 this week, which is day 7 on the document, slide 8, for reading writing, they're going to be writing a narrative, which we did in our second unit this year. For writing a narrative story, they're writing a true thing that happened to them, so they're writing first person, like I did this. For the beginning, what we usually do is we introduce the characters that are also in the story. We introduce the setting. It's kind of just setting it up. Like I was at school and I came in. And then the middle would be the problem, so something that went wrong. So that's a big thing. A lot of students want to write, a lot of times, really good stories, like, oh, I had the best day ever. It was amazing. I did this, this, this. The end, they need a problem in their story, so remind them of that before they start writing. And then the ending would be a solution to their problem. So again, adding lots of details, strong words to help your reader, their reader have a stronger picture. And then, of course, for reading and writing, all this week, in addition to whatever the activity is, reading 30 minutes each day. And then for math, we have the pyramid puzzles. I would just say with that, read the directions very, very carefully and help them through that because, again, they're very specific. And it's a little challenging at first, I would say, but once they get the hang of it, it's very similar to a lot of the Greg Tang worksheets we do in class. It's a puzzle, so it's fun. They usually really enjoy these. So there's also an online version if you don't have the printed version that you can do. That's on the Park Hill Planning document. And then for social studies, it's comparing time periods. So interviewing a grown-up, you could do yourself if that's just easier for you. Or if you wanted, you could kind of plan or schedule a Zoom or a phone interview with a grandparent, aunt, uncle, who, any adult is fine. So that's kind of whatever you want to do with that. And then they will draw a picture or write a paper about the similarities and differences between now and the other person's childhood. And then moving on to day 8, which is day 3 this week, slide 9, we have cursive handwriting. There are links provided by the district if you'd like. I also gave a link that I just really like, and I think it's fun for them. They really seem to enjoy it. For the practice today, you do not need to do the entire alphabet. Please don't. It took us 2 weeks to get through lowercase and uppercase letters. So really what I would do, I would just ask your child which letters they thought were really challenging. I bet a lot of them can think of a few. It could be lowercase or uppercase. If they don't have any that they remember, I would just think yourself, what are some hard ones? Like F is kind of challenging because it's a lot of back and forth. Just think of any letters that you think might be kind of hard and choose those videos or those pieces of the video to practice. Maybe you do 6, 7. It's really whatever you want to do, but 6 or 7 would probably be an appropriate amount if you're looking for a guide. And then, of course, reading on RAS for 30 minutes or reading a book for 30 minutes. For math, it says geometry practice, identifying and classifying polygons using the games below. So go ahead and just get on those games, or you could practice addition and subtraction with flashcards if you do not have access to those games. We have not learned polygons yet. We have not started that. They did learn them in first grade, so it's kind of a review from first grade, but we have not reviewed them again this year. So they might need some reminders on that, and then they can play those games. For social studies, constructing maps, I did provide some links in the email again about maps and map keys. It's a review video, and then map compass rose cardinal direction review video as well. Watch the map key one first, then the map compass and cardinal direction, and that will kind of give them the refresher that they need to create their own map. We have learned this skill, but again, just a little review helps. It goes a long way. So go ahead and have them watch that, and then they can create the map in the directions. Moving on to day 9, which is on slide 10, which is really day 4 this week. We have creating a Google Slider PowerPoint presentation on the topic of your choice. So this will be nonfiction. A lot of them like to pick animals, but they could pick a historical figure, a moment in history, whatever they would like is fine with me. I put directions in the email about how to access Google Slides through the district. You can also do a PowerPoint on your computer. And if really they're just having a hard time with that, I am fine if you do something in their notebook too. If they do it in their notebook, they will need to include more writing. And it will be very similar to last week's activity that they did. So I would highly encourage doing a presentation just so it's a little bit more fun and engaging for them. It's something different. If you're having a hard time accessing that, though, just please let me know and I can help you out the best I can. And then, of course, reading, RAS, kids, or a book for 30 minutes. For math, the maze activity, again, will take some explaining, but once you get the hang of it, it'll make more sense. It's basically a maze, but there's no one right way to go. And the reason they leave it open like that is because they're going to solve the maze multiple times with different challenges. So the first one, can you find a way through in which the numbers add to exactly 100? That's going to be challenging, but again, it's just a puzzle for fun. Kind of helps them keep track of adding multiple numbers in a row. What is the lowest number you can make going through the maze? So of course they will be adding the whole way, but they're looking for smaller numbers. So what's the ways that have, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s instead of 6, 7, 8s, 9s, 10s, and so on. So again, it's just kind of a puzzle, a challenge for them. For citizenship for social studies, you will need access to PebbleGo. Learning about how to be a good citizen. We talked a lot about this at the beginning of the year, so this is a review. And it should be something that they can pretty confidently complete once they've read through the being a good citizen text on PebbleGo. I did include those directions as well. And the reason I included that is also because if they on the reading and writing Google slide PowerPoint presentation, if they can't think of a topic they have a lot of facts about, they could research a topic on PebbleGo. And then they'll also need that access for the social studies activity on citizenship. I included the username and password on how to access it at home. The username is PHSD and the password is just Park Hill, all lowercase, no spaces. So that should give you access to that. And then moving on to day 10, which is really day 5 for this week on slide 11. It says to write a song. We have not ever written a song. We have done poetry, which kind of lends itself to writing a song. It does not have to be long. And it's kind of for fun, whatever they want to write about. So don't stress about that one. It can be pretty short. And then reading for 30 minutes. And then for math, the activity today is a game. I got on to try to access it and I kind of had a hard time myself. So the big thing is making sure that you've enabled your computer for Flash. I tried to do that on my Google Chrome and it would not let me, but it also is kind of due to the fact that I have security things on my work computer. So I tried it on Internet Explorer and it opened up fine. You could do that, or if you're trying to access it and you just really can't, you can do addition and subtraction facts instead. But if you do access the game, it mentions a linear partitioning tool, and that is within the game itself. That's not something you need. It's basically a sliding bar. So if the equation is 18 plus 8, you have 18, you have 8, and it lets them slide and kind of manipulate the numbers. So instead of it being 10 plus 8, you could switch it to like 8 plus 8 plus, it just kind of, it sections out a little bit differently so they can try different strategies like numbers that add up to 10, numbers that are doubles facts. So they can just manipulate the numbers to kind of break down the addition facts or the subtraction facts. Actually, they're all addition, but yeah, to help with the addition facts. So they kind of just get to play around with that. And then for social studies, they will be creating 3 one-pagers. One-pagers are a strategy that we have not used in my class, but it is something that's pretty big these days. I included in the email from me an explanation of what a one-pager is. And then I also included some examples. Now the examples I included, the pictures, they're really fancy. Like they're from upper elementary. They are amazing illustrators. They've added lots and lots of extra stuff. It does not have to look like that. It's just a way of that for them to combine like quotes. Let's see, what else did it say to include? Quotes, questions, pictures, words, colors, font design, just to kind of make it kind of more of an art piece to represent their learning instead of just writing a paper. It's supposed to be fun for them, so maybe show them the example and then kind of say yours doesn't have to look like that, but you can make it whatever you want. They'll create 3 of these, one on the president, one on the governor, and one on the mayor. So it's the executive branch at the federal, state, and local level. Again, we have talked about this, but this is a very complicated concept for second graders, so maybe reviewing that with them and really supporting them through this activity will be very helpful. But again, this is a review, so have them create those 3 one-pagers, and that is it for week 2. Sorry if that was a lot of information. I just wanted to include as much as I could up front. So hopefully if you have a question, you remember me mentioning it, you can come back and watch this. If you're thinking, wow, I wish I had a video on that, please look at my email that I sent that has extra links that are not included in the Park Hill planning document, but could be used if you want. Again, none of these are ones that you have to watch that are in my email. That is just extra support for you. Because I know last week I got quite a few emails about habitats and how to support students with that. So I just wanted to give you a few extra resources this week to help you out. If it's not helpful, then please don't use it. Also, a friendly reminder that students can also choose one art, music, or PE activity and one counseling lesson from the specials choice board each day. And then I'm also totally open to any websites or activities or anything that you guys are doing just kind of as an extra to give your students something else to do. Please send that my way because I love getting to collect those, and my plan is that I will be sending out a document sometime this week with some kind of extra activity things to kind of like give a brain break or give your student a break in the middle of homeschooling, which is definitely a different experience than classroom schooling. So just I can't thank you guys enough for all that you're doing and how you're supporting your children in all of this. Thank you for the Zoom on Thursday. That was so much fun, and you could just tell the students loved seeing each other and getting to wave and getting to share. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock will be our next one. I'm going to send out the invite this evening also, just as a reminder. And yeah, again, please know that I'm here to support you. I'm sending out these links just to give you some extra resources. And I want this to be as smooth, as calm, as easy an experience as possible. So if anything is coming across as just way too complicated, please reach out to me and I would love to help you. So thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for your support, your communication, your patience as we navigate this time. And please know that I hope your families are healthy, safe, and getting a lot of quality time together. So um, that is it for week 2. Please send any questions my way, and I'm excited to get started. Thanks.